Well, that's a baby there.
Yeah.
Move up a little higher.
Go on, sing that song.
Some way or somehow. Cause I've got my strength, and it don't make sense not to keep on pushing.
All right, come on now.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hey, well,
Gary is going through some changes, but we're going to have to bring it back.
Oh, everybody says that.
We got to
Hey,
bring it
Tommy,
back.
he said, is that the Sheridan over there? Tell him what you said about the
I
Sheridan.
told I pulled up, because see, the first time we passed by, I passed the studio busy looking at the building.
Right.
I said, that looks like the Sheridan.
Right.
Now see, back in the early 80s,
Right.
we did the grand opening, the Impressions did the grand opening for the Sheridan. And we had people lined up, going around the block trying to get in. And so we were there 3 nights. About 2 months later, they brought us back for a week. And so I just remember that place when it was new, man. It's hard to believe that, you know, that's where we are nowadays.
Well, we're going through some changes.
We got to bring it back.
Yeah, well, we hope that we can.
Oh, yeah.
So, Reggie, how you doing?
Man, it's been a long time since I had a bad day.
Oh, that's all right.
And even then, it couldn't have been worse.
All right.
So, how's my friend Eddie Thomas doing?
Man, Eddie's doing great. You know, I just finished doing the Curtis Mayfield story in Chicago at the Black Ensemble Theater.
Oh,
Yeah, oh man, we had a 7-month run, man. We were supposed to run 6 weeks. We ran 7 months, over 120 performances. But anyway, this pertains to Eddie, because Eddie is prominently talked about in the movie. And so he came. He was at 2 of the shows. The first time he came, man, he cried. He had tears in his eyes because he couldn't believe that his legacy was so strong that he would dominate that much of this story of Curtis Mayfield.
And when I got a chance to talk to him, to invite him over, he was like, WLTH? Then I said, Tommy Williams, and you know, his brother's the owner. He said, Tommy Williams, Record Row. And he said, I will make it happen.
Yeah. Now, we just closed Chicago Soul, which was the story of Record Row.
Oh, you
at the
did?
Black Ensemble Theater. Now, they ran, what did they run then? I think they ran about 5 or 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
They ran in conjunction with the Mayfield story. As we were going out, they brought up, and it was telling the story of all the dignified. You know what? That might be where I saw your name last.
Tommy go way back with Record Row now.
I know, that might be where I saw your name last, because they were talking about all the greats from back in that day, man.
Well, you know, Record Row was Michigan Avenue.
That's right.
Yeah, well, you know, I may look young.
Yeah.
But my very first recording was on Record Row, man, Universal Studios.
Were you?
Yeah, 1971. I was with Clarence Ludd of High Chaparral and Jimmy Van Leer, E. Rodney Jones, and I did my first recording, Fool Like Me, at Universal Studios, right there on Record Row.
Well, I worked at WGRT in Chicago.
Man.
Yeah.
Go on, tell me again the name of that station, Tommy.
Say it, Tommy.
Come on.
WGRT.
Now, what was
Wow.
I remember, because I remember the story that Fred and Sam tell me about when they were looking for a record deal. You know, they went to Record Row, and the original place they were going to was closed because it was snowing.
Oh.
So they went right across the street to VJ Records.
Yeah, Vivian.
VJ was open.
Yeah.
And that's where For Your Precious Love was played. And, well, they actually sang it. They would play it. And the rest is history.
Rest is history.
I tell you, we told the story where, you know, Jackie Taylor keeps a positive story. She tries to tell a positive story. The mission statement for that theater is to remove racism, hatred, prejudice, jealousy, envy, and all that. So we told the highlights of the beginning of Kurt Tom, the relationship between Curtis and Eddie and Marv and Jerry Butler and Gene Chandler, Major
Gene was here.
Friends to the station,
Gene was here about 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago,
3 weeks
But man, I know Gene and I were, we were given proclamation to Jackie Taylor for Soul Day in Chicago.
Wow.
And Gene and I rode in together. And you know what it's like for me as a kid growing up with these guys, man? And all of a sudden, I'm riding into the city with Gene Chandler. You know, that still moves me. And I've been in this business 40-something years.
Wow. Tell us what's happening with you now. What do you got? And where you going? And what can we do? And how can we collaborate? What can we do?
Well, let me say, first of all, I appreciate the invitation.
Yeah.
I'm glad to come
Diana,
over here.
she's part of us.
Yeah, I mean,
part of us.
This beautiful facility and to talk to a brand new fan base.
Yeah.
As I said, I just finished Curtis Mayfield story. I'm in line. Now comes the movie. So we're getting ready to do. We're getting ready to do the movie. We're getting ready to do a story on a minister who changed his theology. And so they call this movie The Heretic. And this is a story about Bishop Carlton Pearson. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the good bishop.
Yeah.
But he has had some controversy, but he's about to tell his story. But in the immediate future, this month, the 24th, I'm actually going to Rochester, New York to do something for the Music Hall of Fame. They are recognizing and honoring WDKX. I have to remember because the D is for Frederick Douglass, the K is for Martin Luther King, and X is for Malcolm X.
Right.
They're celebrating their 40th year anniversary. They're one of the oldest black radio stations in contemporary R&B, in music, and in community involvement in that area.
Wow.
So along with Russell Tompkins of the Stylistics, one of the Sledge sisters, the lead singer, I think it's Kathy Sledge, she's going to be there, and then I'm going to represent the Impressions.
Oh, wow.
And we have this funk band, probably about 20 pieces, that we're going to do the music for the Hall of Fame event, and it's going to be all.
You need somebody to carry those bags.
Right, yeah, Tommy and Gary. You know what, is there something you can do here in Gary? You know, we like to bring something here. You guys, can you do something for us? Concert or something?
I would love to.
Well,
we need to talk
about that big Genesis Center over there?
Yeah.
We need to talk about it. We need to collaborate.
And she's been on Smoking 99. She checked out Smoking 99. She says it's hot.
Yeah.
We should be able to come together and do something for the citizens here.
You know, and that's what I was going to say. We need to find a good cause to make sure that that cause benefits.
Right.
And that, you know, we'd love to come in and do something.
You
because we got to bring it back. Well, the Impressions, we have a new single out. We redid Major Lance's Rhythm. Oh. And there's a movement. We just got back from Europe.
Oh, wow. You
know, so the song that you played was one of the big ones that we did over in Europe. But we found that the market is now asking for the old sound.
Yeah, they
the
like
60s
those
and the 70s sound. Rhythm, we even put it out on a 45 vinyl, y'all.
On a 45?
On a 45.
Really?
There is a music community that only plays vinyl, and there's a market.
You mean to
45.
They're playing 45. You
know, we're always recreating ourselves.
Right.
You know, recreating ourselves without losing who we are. And I'm doing some solo things, and you know, Fred and Sam are healthy and looking good, and we get together a few times a year, and now I'm doing a little acting.
Oh, that's great.
You know, so it's a lot of fun.
Oh,
okay, we'll take a quick break. Go ahead, Tasha.
And hit something
up there for us.
Oh, look.
Yeah, what's this right here? Yeah.
That's our first #1
First #1 hit.
Out of the shadows of
myself together. You remember that, Tommy?
But as I was coming down Broadway, you know, I was reminded of Detroit. I was reminded of Chicago Heights. I was reminded of those cities who had an industrial base and which supplied the revenue, the tax revenue, to keep the cities going. And these three communities, or three cities that I just named, Chicago Heights, Gary, and Detroit, all suffer from the same malady, the removal of that base. So now it's up to us to be creative to decide what is going to replace that base. Because see, there's a technical society out here that needs a base. There are technicals they got in the Silicon Valley, and you look at wherever they establish these technical societies or communities, they're coming up. So we have to figure out what are we going to replace our industrial complex with. And there are a lot of things out there to do it with. So to finish your stuff, say you asked me a question, I was talking for 3 minutes. But anyway, talking about coming down Broadway.
Right.
And I was disheartened. I just said, man, what is going on? But I understand it.
Okay.
I may be disheartened, but I understand it.
Okay.
I don't completely understand the solution, but I know it takes an investment. I know it takes creative thinking. And I know that if you come up with the right idea, there are going to be investors to come in behind and invest this thing. And then all we have to worry about is keeping our eye on the money.
All right,
That's all.
now give us the last thing when you walked into the studio. Tell us what you said about that.
Well, when I walked into the studio, I was surprised at the beauty, number one, of the studio. That it's modern, that it's fresh. But I just knew as I was riding downtown, I said, there's going to be a border, and I'm going to cross that border, and then things are going to change.
Right.
Okay.
And this is where they start to change.
Okay.
Right here.
And we like that.
So I walked in the whole building. I went back to the men's room and I just said, wow, this whole building is nice. This is just not a store.
That was the first thing he said. But when we had other friends to the station, Marshall Thompson and Gene Chandler, they all said the same thing. This was one of the nicer studios.
This is the border.
Yeah,
this is where
is
things
it.
start to change, right here on this corner.
Well, Reggie, you know what? It's interesting that you made that observation because we've been having like some little battles going back and forth and territorial things and things. And we've been telling our administration the same thing that you're saying, is that, when people come into this town and they see things, they go back and it's not in proper in order. People are going to go back and tell that story that you report that you stole.
Yeah.
What we're trying to do, we're trying to engage community groups because the steel mills, as they used to be, ain't coming back.
No, never coming back.
Never coming back.
They outsourced those jobs.
Yeah, it's gone.
And killed us.
Yeah, it's killed us.
Yeah.
Yeah, Reggie, so where from now? And you got a young lady with you now. Who is that?
This is Lynn Orman.
Hey,
Hi, Lynn.
Lynn is my
Hey.
new publicist. Lynn is the one that set up the date for me in New York.
Okay.
And I mean, it's going really well. It's a great date.
I met Lynn also at the Jackie Taylor's Black Ensemble Theater. She works with all types of groups, community uplifting type of groups.
Okay.
So she has brought all these folks out to see the play, and we've become quite good friends.
Guess what?
Yeah,
Every one of them.
She works with Bobby Rush and
Yeah,
the saxophone that was with saxophone guy that was with Holland Wolf. What's his name?
Eddie Shaw.
Eddie Shaw. Eddie Shaw. She's gonna help hook it up.
Hey,
Yeah.
hook the station
We
up.
want WLTH to be a catalyst
Right.
on revitalizing, bringing these groups back. That's what Tommy and I do, because we go way back in the industry. Our base of listeners, they range in age all the way up to 80 years old. Gene Chandler was here. They were getting out the car with walkers. They still breathing and they still want to hear good music.
I know, when we perform, we still have a nice female fan base. And as I was telling you, the only difference now, we don't have to run as fast.
Well, yes, we got the very best of the impressions. Is this out now? It's called Gypsy Woman. It's all
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Talking about my baby.
Talking about my baby with her pretty smile.
Live at the WLTH studio.
And you know that to be
Now,
true.
now what about that? Keep on pushing, Reggie.
Well, that's a little bit too high.
You got it. Hit one
Okay,
of
let
them.
me
one of them,
find
hit
something
one of
else
them
here.
for us.
What you got? Which one you got?
People get ready.
Oh, wow.
There's a train coming.
All right now.
You don't need no baggage. You just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. You don't need no ticket. You just thank the Lord.
All right.
Help me somebody.
Let me ask you.
Tommy, you can have that CD right there. We want you to give it away on the Breakfast Club.
Oh,
Brand
wow.
new for one of your listeners there. We'll get it autographed
You
for
got
him.
2 CDs?
Yeah, we got
Well, let me ask you this. What kind of relationship did you have with Curtis?
Did I have with Curtis?
Yeah.
When I was with Kurt Tom, towards the final days of Kurt Tom, it was real good.
Okay.
Since his accident, Curtis wasn't really seeing anyone.
Right.
Curtis probably, he would see Jerry Butler.
Okay.
He would see Fred and Sam.
All right.
But basically,
Wouldn't
that
see
was
you
it. Yeah, but I learned quite a bit from Curtis when I was at Curtis.
Right.
One of the things I learned from Curtis was how to handle my business.
Okay.
Because Curtis was an excellent businessman. And of course, my vocal style is similar to Curtis's, not as a duplication, but just in spirit.
Hi,
What's your name?
my name is Doris Waiters.
Okay.
Doris Waiters.
Right, and we used to go to St. Bethel together.
That's right.
And I remember when you used to sing in the choir.
I was president
Yeah,
of
we
the
go
choir.
way back.
So you from Chicago Heights?
Yes, I was raised in Chicago Heights, went to Bloom Township,
Ooh, okay.
graduated. I ain't gonna tell you what year.
Okay. Do you live in Gary?
I live in Maryville now.
Okay.
But
Wow.
I feel so close to Gary because we were raised
Right.
hearing about Gary.
Okay.
You know, like Reggie mentioned, Chicago Heights and Gary. I was so proud to hear you talk about Chicago Heights because of the change, you know, and it affects me too. Even though I live in Maryville, I drive through Gary, and I remember as a child growing up and hearing about visiting churches in Gary and just hearing about Mayor Hatcher, you know, I have that connection with Gary, and I was just so proud to hear Reggie.
How did you find out he was coming to WLTH?
I was riding down the street, and I started maybe a couple of weeks ago listening to WLTH, and I said, oh, I didn't know they had a radio station here in Gary, you know, because I've been working all my life.
Okay.
But I started listening to it, and I've been listening to you guys for every time I'm in my car. I listen to it now. And I just happened to hear you all talk about him. He was on the radio. I said, what? Is this my Reggie?
So you pulled on over, huh? You pulled
So
on
I
over.
pulled on over.
There you go.
And I don't know if he realized it, but my sister Deborah was down there when you were doing a play or something in
Curtis
Chicago.
Mayfield.
Right, and she told us, she said it was really good, it was well worth it, try to go. Unfortunately, it was towards the end, and you were I guess it was getting ready to stop or whatever.
Well, Reggie, let me ask you.
So anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I just ran out the house, you know, this morning. I hadn't expected to be here, or I would have put on some makeup.
That's okay.
But anyway, I just had to stop by because it just did me good to even hear you speak in the way you were talking about, you know, things and what we need to bring back. I'm just impressed.
Well, stay, keep listening to WLTH, okay?
I will. I will get off the air.
Tommy got a question for you.
Reggie, let me ask you something. How much of give me
You know,
we're reaching out there, Don't forget the Breakfast Club Monday morning.
Yeah, the Breakfast Club is something else, I'm telling you.
Let me ask you something. Well, how did you like that? How do you like that joke that Scat did the other day?
Scat about the perfume?
Yeah.
I gotta give me some of that perfume. Oh my God, it's hilarious.
What was your question, sir?
Reggie, let me ask you this.
You hugging on the ladies and stuff.
Well, you know I got to do what I do, man.
Reggie, let me ask you something. How big an entourage do you have that you, in order to get here, do you have to have a large entourage of put it down so we can handle it? We'll talk about it.
Now, we talking about a weekday?
No, we'll talk about that off Don't say a weekday.
We talking about a weekday or weekend?
We gotta have something on the weekend.
Well, Reggie, we got to get out of here.
Okay.
Diane has to close this out. It's the Weekend with Dinahlynn Biggs right here on AM 1370 WLTH, Gary, Indiana. We enjoy being here. And Reggie, we got a brand new station that's coming online.
Is that right?
Yeah. Another
what
one.
is that?
Another one.
Up in Niles, Michigan.
Niles, Michigan.
We got one in South Bend. We got WSNK 99.1 up there. And we got a new one coming online.
So we're going to consolidate all this power, and we're going to bring it back.
You're going to have to do something with us, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we got WSTT in Tallahassee. That's a 25,000 watt WNG in Jackson, Mississippi.
Wow.
Smoking99.com.
Yeah.
Hit one, you hit them all.
See,
we got it.
All we need is an idea, man.
Okay.
That's all we need is an idea.
Reggie.
Yes, sir.
So happy to see you, man.
My pleasure,
Tell
Tom.
Curtis, tell Eddie.
Right.
I said hello.
Yeah, because it'll be a while before I speak to Curtis.
Yeah. Well, look, tell Bobby Rush. Bobby's going to be back in town. We're going to try to be back over
Yeah,
Bobby
Lynn's
Rush.
going to make something happen
Lynn's
with that,
gonna
huh?
make something
Sure thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
all right.
Okay, Tasha, AM 1370
Hit us with something. Put it up and put it
Gary,
down.
Indiana, just pick it up and lay it down.
Lay it down.
That's
That's
what we
Tasha Mack, our lady engineer over there. Tasha Mack.
Yeah.
All right,
man,
now.
what you think?
Oh, damn.
This is Dinahlynn from 1370 WLTH with Tommy Williams. We're just doing what we do at the station that makes your day, WLTH.
Yeah. Well, that's a baby there.
Yeah.